Hey everybody, this is Patty Dye. I'm really happy to be here this morning with Michael Schultz and Greg Hottinger. I've known Michael for a long time, and it has been this wonderful journey toward wellness with you in my life, Michael, as much as you make me work hard at the gym. I've been working with Michael for a number of years and recently met Greg because the two of them have created a book that I know has been a go-to of mine since it came out, Coach Yourself Thin. And my title for it is Coach Yourself Well, because that's really my focus. Being thinner may be a great offshoot of being more well or having more wellness in my life, but it's been a really fantastic book for me and a great journey with the two of these guys who have been teaching online classes around the concepts in this book. And once I went through one of their classes and had really looked at the fact that this is a whole new way of looking at wellness for me. It's not prescriptive, it's not a 3-minute abs kind of approach to things. I really wanted to be able to work more intensely with them and also bring it to people who read my work because I think it's really powerful. So to Greg and Michael, thanks for agreeing to go along on this journey. I'm looking forward to teaching a class called Becoming Bendy. When I first started turning toward wellness a couple of years ago and really wanted to incorporate fitness and wellness into my daily life, I started calling it Becoming Bendy, that's really what I wanted to do. And I mean flexibility in a lot of different ways. So we're teaching a class together online. Starts October 23rd through November 28th. It's 37 days long because I in all of my work think that you can really change your life dramatically in 37 days. So it's going to be fun. We're having a lot of fun putting the class together, and I'm really looking forward to it. Once I started teaching online classes in great depth this year, I realized that the kind of community that you build around a topic like this can be very powerful, even if not face-to-face, and maybe even more so not face-to-face. There's something about working in community online that really allows people to be transparent and honest and get to the places that we need to really get to the things beneath the surface. So this class for me is an effort to bring to a larger group of people in my community a very interactive, powerful way of looking at fitness and wellness in your life. And that's a long introduction, but I'm going to add one more piece to it. When John was diagnosed, my husband was diagnosed with cancer this summer, suddenly the sense of urgency about becoming more cancer resistant and creating a lifestyle that was full of fitness and good food and really paid attention in a very mindful way to nutrition, suddenly that became a lot more urgent for me. So the offering of this class at this time is also a really important part of the equation for me. So thanks for being available. And Greg and Michael have a great provenance. They have a great resume in terms of their work in this field. I'm not going to go into that now. We'll put information about that below the video. But there are a couple questions that people are asking about the class, so I thought we'd make a short video or a series of short videos to kind of bring those questions up, and let's talk about those if we could. So the first one has to do with maybe something that, Greg, you focus on from the nutrition point of view. And the question is, does this involve yet another diet? Is there a diet plan? Are there little boxes I have to check off? Is it about being vegan and gluten-free, some of the things that I'm experimenting with? Do I have to, completely restock my pantry or have special food? So do you want to talk just a little bit about that from your perspective?
Sure. It's not our intention at all that there's a set way to approach this program or this 37 days. We're really thinking that, everybody's at a different stage, and so this is really looking at, it's about raising awareness in all these different ways. And so, we're going to start with just where you're at and start a conversation, really. We're going to go through little exercises that are going to raise awareness, like water intake and really discussing that in your relationship to water. We're going to talk about food. We're going to look at things like the shoulds around the should thinking that we have, the guilt that we walk around with, about the choices that we make, or we're going to talk about when we are in control and when we feel like we're out of control, and what that might look like to shift in that relationship. So, people that, like I said, everybody's at a different stage, and so if you're ready to dive in and clean out your pantry and sort of take on a totally clean way of eating during this 37 days, you're going to find the support for that. Mm-hmm. And if you're really more at the stage of just wanting to understand some of the reasons for making changes or starting small and looking at little things that you can change, then you're going to find the support for that too. So, I guess does that answer your question, Patty?
Yeah, I think it's a great way of looking at it. It's not a prescription, I guess. A lot of times we go into these programs, quote unquote, and there's a very limited number of foods that you can eat, or very special formulas that you have to follow. And what I love about your work is that that's not true. There's an encouragement to look at whole foods and clean eating, but there's not a prescription to do that. And also, Greg, one thing that comes out of your answer that I know is true from my conversations with Michael too is that, and very much in line with my work, and that is, unless we can get below the surface of things unless we can get below the behaviors of eat this, don't eat that, those kinds of things, to the things you're talking about, which is, why am I making the choices that I'm making? How am I feeling about the choices I'm making? I love what the two of you talk about in terms of cheating or treating, Like, there's a lot of shame and there's a lot of emotional investment and story about weight and how we are in the world and how we show up in the world, and eating ding-dongs in the closet, whatever those behaviors are, that it's not enough just to look at the behavior and stop it, because we'll go right back to that after the program is over if we don't look at the story beneath that. So what I love about the design is, as you said, there's a series of exercises every day. There's a mindful knowing exercise, which is really about awareness and processing some of the stories we tell ourselves. There's a mindful eating and a mindful moving exercise each day, so that we're looking at these three facets of the stories that we're telling ourselves about food and about fitness and about wellness. So yeah, thanks for that. There's a kind of a question that's in alignment with that for you, Michael, and that is, I've got physical limitations, and how rigorous, and what are we going to be doing in terms of exercise? So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, Patty. And it really goes back to the word that both of you have used, which is prescription or prescriptive. And this isn't that sort of program, as people are aware, and listening to the two of you outline it. It really, our philosophy is more along the lines of anything counts, any movement counts, and it really does us no good to prescribe exercise. And that's typically what people get, just like they get a diet and they're told exactly what to eat or what not to eat. Most diet plans, weight loss plans, also involve an exercise prescription or an exercise program, and it always makes me laugh, because there's literally millions of ways to exercise out there, and yet you'll sign up for a program and they'll give you 8. So here's the 8 magic exercises that you're supposed to do. And it's just quite funny, because there's no way that you can pick the 8 best or the 6 best or the 86 best. There's no way to do that, and there's no reason to do that. Yeah. So what we do is really encourage people to find their own way and find the type of movement that works for them. I always refer back to the practice of Tai Chi, and you can probably Google this, and you would find pictures of literally thousands of Chinese people doing Tai Chi, and none of them look like bodybuilders, and none of them are ultra endurance athletes, and yet every one of them looks healthy and is relaxed and probably living a very vital life, because they are strong. And that's Tai Chi. That could be gardening or walking with your dog, or going for a hike. It can be any number of things that have nothing to do with the gym and nothing to do with free weights or machines or jump ropes or treadmills or anything like that. So it really is about finding what's right for you and finding movement that feels good. That's another thing that I continually do is challenge people to think about types of movement that do feel good. Because it's very common for people to come into our programs and say, I hate exercise. I hate to sweat. I hate exercise. And that may very well be true. But how do you feel about moving in your body? If we frame it as a walk on the beach in the sunset, do you feel the same way? Because that's movement. If we frame it as a walk through a museum, and you're able to experience art, not in a book, not online, but in person and close up, that's movement. And how do you feel about that? Those are all moving in the physical realm and things that we count on our bodies to help us do, and places we count on our bodies to take us. And that's really, that's where we come from. That's what we want to help people do.
Yeah. You know, I think when you're talking about that, two things, Michael works with me in the gym, and he knows that my very favorite thing in the world to do is side planks. Or elbow planks.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the other thing that comes up for me is that as I age, and, you know, I'm aging, thankfully, there's another sense of urgency for me. I really want to be strong as I get older, and more flexible as I get older. As well, and Michael knows this, and I might have told you this story, Greg. When I travel, and I used to exceptionalize travel, I used to think, well, I'm going to have this workout schedule, and then I'll take a break because I'm traveling. But then I realized I travel every week, so my life is one big break. You know, there's no, like, unless I try. And then I went through, one of the things that you talk about is all or nothing thinking. And then I went through, okay, when I travel, I'm going to work out an hour a day. I'm going to take my stuff with me, and the minute I get there, I'm going to go to the hotel gym and work out an hour a day. And Michael would just look at me with the look he's looking at me like right now, and, you know, and ask me, well, how's that working out for you? Because I never would work out an hour a day, but because I had set that up, if I couldn't work out an hour a day, I may as well just eat chocolate lava cake, you know. And so there was no in-between place where I could have some grace for myself and allow for the fact that walking the 10 minutes to the meeting room is movement. And so I really love that. I really appreciate that.
Well, what you bring up, Patty, is expectations. And I think that's really what holds people back in the area of physical activity. And food, too. But your example of the hour a day is perfect, because that's what you were looking at as what was necessary to make the changes that you had in the back of your mind. And you know, your logical mind, your intellectual mind knew that, oh, well, questioned at least, what's 5 minutes going to do for me?
Exactly.
And that's not going to give me the results that I'm looking for. So it becomes a why bother sort of situation. So it really starts with those expectations and reframing them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to take a break now. I want to thank the two of you for just answering some beginning questions. We'll do a couple more videos to answer some of the other questions, but for now, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.